Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome, welcome, welcome! It's Monday, March 18th, 2024, here with DJ Wonder Chrissy and Migrant and the Dancing Donald. Come along as we check out what's happening with the migrants, the newcomers, the border buddies. Let's dance a little. Get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble!
There you go, folks. DJ Wonder Chrissy, and let's get going with the show. We got a good show today. Yesterday was eviction day. The confusion has begun in Chicago, although there's a lot of different reports. I heard 30 were supposed to be evicted, but only maybe 3. So I don't know how they're coming up with these numbers, but not many were evicted, considering they started this whole 60-day thing back in November, and they extended it a couple of times, so there should be plenty of people beyond their 60-day limit, but there's so many exceptions. We'll play a video, you hear about all the exceptions, like if you got like a shoelace that's not tied right, you get an exemption. I mean, it's just crazy, all the exceptions. And if you got a kid in Chicago public schools, you get to wait until the school year is done, which is like the end of May or something like that. So let me get our window up and running here. Let me get the videos ready for you. There's one there. Let's see if we can get that one up. It's ready to go, but it just doesn't want to show up for me. Let's try it again. There we go. Let's give it a try.
Underway for nearly.
There we go. So let's play this one. This gives a good overview of all the exceptions and throw some numbers at you. Let's give it a roll.
36 migrants at 3 different city-run shelters. Those being evicted have hit the 60-day shelter limit. Although some received extensions, CBS 2's Darius Johnson joins us from the landing zone, where some of those evicted will come right back.
The city informed nearly 36 migrants on Friday.
Good old landing zone. Don't see much of that these days.
Landing zone to start the process for housing once again. The road to stability can be tough, especially for the thousands of migrants who hope to call Chicago home.
Sunday is our first day. I am sure that within, a couple weeks of this iteration, it'll, evolve and we'll tweak it to be more effective and efficient.
They're going to get good at this.
Migrants who've occupied a bed at 3 city-run shelters since November were evicted. Brandy Kanazi with the Chicago Department of Family and Support Services says it's a new approach.
Right now, this is the first wave, and so we're going to take it one day at a time to, this is always continuous improvement in our processes. But right now, the process is that individuals will go back to the landing zone and they will reapply for shelter through that process.
Especially if they haven't found permanent housing through a relative or rental assistance in 60 days, they're back to the landing zone where they began.
We'll be working with them to make sure that they can connect with family and friends. Again, that's part of what the case management is preparing them.
Try to get them to leave Chicago. Give them a free ticket out of town.
Throughout our shelter system.
However, families with children enrolled in Chicago public schools are safe to stay until the end of the school.
Oh, yeah.
As the city pushes migrants to find stability, more than 2,000 migrants are set to be evicted by April 30th. The next round of evictions are set to happen later this month, and it's expected to impact more than 200 migrants. Reporting from the landing zone, I'm Darius Johnson, CBS 2 News.
Darius.
So there you have that. I got one more. Let's see if we can get another one here. Let's try this one where it talks about confusion.
Introducing the hide and seek.
We're also getting a lot of reports out of Chicago from lots of sources, not just. I was kind of shocked, but I guess I don't ride the CTA every day. There was a protest press conference yesterday in Gage Park. There's a gentleman by the name of Ford Boss Me that videotaped that, and he's been down to Gage Park a couple of times, and I have a friend that rides the Blue Line. That's the one that goes from downtown to the airport on a daily basis, and I'm hearing that the migrants are smoking weed all the time. She says when they're on the train or the buses, they just reek of it. And so did Ford Boss Me. He said he could tell people were just sitting around this park smoking weed. They're selling food that they've made or bought somewhere else, and are sitting outside the shelter and selling it without a permit. So there's a lot of weird stuff and illegal things going on with the migrants, and this one person I says they're like smoking on the train. They're not supposed to smoke on the train. And I got a video for you too of what else happens on those trains these days, which make your stomach turn. Well, we'll give you a video on that. I did a short over the weekend about the CTA train, so we're going to show you that, but. Let's check in with Fox 32 and Tia Ewing and Dane and see what they have to say about the evictions.
Shelter evictions have started for some migrants in Chicago, but there's been some confusion over who has to go.
One alderman says the 60-day policy needs to be scrapped. Another bus arriving at the
Yeah, got another bus. We're getting like one bus a day, it seems like.
Chicago landing zone as more asylum seekers come in.
And instead of going to the suburbs and dropping them off at the metro station, they are following the rules, and they're scheduling it, and they're dropping them off at the landing zone. So it seems to be what Brandon had wanted, I guess. And I'm sure they charge him a huge fee for doing that. But anyway.
Several are being kicked out. Chicago is enforcing the limited stay shelter policy for the first time. Confusion, though, on who's staying and who is going. The city said 34 migrants were going to be out on their own, but now we are learning only 3 were booted. But still, there are growing concerns.
Only 3?
You've got